In this tutorial, I'm going to go over a few more useful functions that you can find in the QGIS Field Calculator. In my previous tutorial, I gave an overview of the Field Calculator and went over a few examples, including how to concatenate fields, performing arithmetic using fields, and calculating area and length of features. So if you're interested in learning about one of those things, then I would recommend checking out that tutorial. So here we're looking at the different villages in the state of New York in this data set villages. So I'm going to click on Open Attribute Table and look at our attribute fields here. So we've got this GNIS ID field here. This is a string field. Let's say we were interested in creating a new field that contained just the last 4 characters of this field. We can do this using the field calculator. So first I'm going to click on the pencil button here to toggle editing mode on. And then I'm going to click on the field calculator button here. I'm going to be creating a new field, so I'm going to add a field name and call this GNIS4. And it will be a text field, and I'll change the output field length to 4. So the function that I'm going to use is under string here, so I'll click on that. And it's the function called write. So I'll double click on that to add it to my expression builder. And you can see, if you look over on the right, you can see what the syntax needs to be. And here's an example here. And so I just need to add my field name and the number of characters I want taken from the right side of the field value and added to my new field. And so if I want, I can just go to fields and values and then double click on my field here, or I could just type it in manually. And then I'll add a comma. And then I want the 4 characters starting from the right added to my new field. So I'll add 4 and then a closing parenthesis. The output looks good here under preview. I'll click OK. And there we've got our new field here populated. Now another option you have that does the same thing but starting from the left side of your field would be, unsurprisingly, the function called left. So you would do the same thing, and then you could just pull the characters from the left-hand side of your field values. Some other useful string functions that you can use are related to the capitalization of alphabetical characters. So for example, I've got this name field here over on the left. Let's say I wanted all of these names here to be in all uppercase. So to do that, I could either create a new field or I could update an existing field, which is what I'm going to do. And then select name. And then under string functions, I'll just double click on upper. And then I'm just going to type in my field name in double quotes, which is name. Add my closing parenthesis. And click OK. And there we've got our change here. So other options that you have, if you wanted all of the letters to be in lowercase, you would just use lower. And if you wanted all of the words in the values to be capitalized, then you'd use title here. Now let's say you wanted to populate a field based on one or more conditions. So for example, I've got this population field here that shows the population in 2010 for each of the villages. Let's say I wanted to create a new field that showed the size, like a size classification. So any village that had a population of 1,000 or less would be categorized as small. Anything between 1,000 and 10,000 people would be medium, and anything above 10,000 would be large. So the way I can do that, I'll go into my field calculator and I will create a new field. I'm going to call it size, and it will be a string field. And the function I'm interested in is listed under conditionals, and it is this case function. So I'll double click on that. And so over here in our expression builder, we need to populate the conditions that we want to apply for this new field. And so first of all, we'll add our field name, which is this POP 2010. And in the first condition, we're concerned with villages that are less than or equal to 1,000 in population. So I'll just add that. And then the result we want, when that's the case, we want this field to be populated with the word small. So I'll add that in single quotes since it's a string. And at this point, you could just stop if you just had only one condition. This is valid. I would just click OK, and then this would be populated for all of the situations where it applied. But in our case, we want to add a few more conditions. So let's continue. So our next condition would be when the population 2010 data set was greater than 1,000 and when it is less than or equal to 10,000. And in that situation, then I'll add then, and we want this populated with the word medium. And then lastly, for everything else, which would be everything above, left out a 0 there. Okay. For everything above 10,000, we want it populated with large. And so that would be everything else in our data set. So I'm just going to add else and then the word large. So let's click OK and see what we've got here. I'm going to sort this by size. So we've got small here. And then once we get above 1,000, we've got medium. And then once we get above 10,000, we've got large here. So it populated correctly. And so this is one way you can use conditional functions to populate fields. You can use one or as many conditions as you would like.